Hey, what up? Future me, digital me, Siggy me. I made it through one day of the mass blackout. If anybody's doing it, I don't know. I should look at that, by the way. See if anybody's doing it. Um, I just watched another video on post capitalism. It was a guy who was reviewing the Orville. Apparently, the Orville's series finale. I wonder if McFarlane will ever try and resurrect that series or not. I don't know. It seemed like it kind of did itself justice, so it doesn't really need to be redone. You know, it was perfectly fine. I mean, you know, once you take a show like that and um, you had that like war with the robots, which is kind of tacky. It's just, you know, it's like whatever. Like, I do want to kind of try and uh, I would want to ask him how does that a species, a race of theocrats manage to get or develop spacefaring technology and maintain it so well? That one, I'm really interested in that because on Earth, religious religious fanatics, as you get more and more fanatically religious, you go more and more technologically backward, which means if you had X level of technology, it would get it would just degrade. You would have fewer and fewer people that would be able to advance the technology and fewer people that would be able to maintain it, and your society would just crumble like America. So we'll have to, I mean, I don't know what this means for America, but if we're gonna continue down road of Trump, we're going to need to import people to come here and like maintain stuff, or everything is just going to crumble into shit. So the blue states will have to just be like, well, I mean, we can play a 50-year game and then, you know, you'll have to just be like, we'll keep advancing, and then you'll be like, help us, we're the Soviet Union now. Yeah, I know. All your bridges are just starting to fall and collapse because you, they're 120 years old now. So, and ours are made out of hypertensile, I don't know, tri-weave nano fiber carbon, whatever. I don't know what the fuck the material will be called, but what, you know, Like, I don't see the beams holding it up. There are no beams. We replaced we replaced the Golden Gate Bridge with a thread because it's so strong. You don't need the old bridge. It's just a thread now that cars can drive on, or they fly. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, um, yeah, but the video for the orbital thing, the post scarcity societies that they always try to like reference our like Star Treks and stuff. They're like a lot of people are like waiting for like replicator technology. Like, well, once we have that, we won't be able to. Capitalists won't be able to like capitalism won't be able to survive anymore. It's like our society, human society now. I say this before in other videos, and I say it in posts when I address the topic. Earth already has enough resources. The collective human civilization already produces enough of the basic stuff for every person to have what they need. We can already do it in all the big countries in isolation. And if we just had a decent working world government, we could do it for every person on the globe. Um, if we decided not to have conflicts with each other, um, which I don't know why there isn't. Why is there a UN if the UN doesn't have uh, an a military to make sure to just say no one is gonna there's not gonna be any war anymore. The UN should have a military first and foremost. If the UN doesn't have a military, then it doesn't have any actual power. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, I think history has taught us that if a governing body doesn't have a military behind it, then it doesn't really have any power. So that, and there should be a world government, an actual world government. I don't see any problem with that. We just layer that world government on top of every other nation state, and every nation state contributes their military to that world government. And I know people in the rural parts of America will be like, blah, 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 blah. I ain't siding with my Chinese, and so on and so forth. Goddamn Indian and Russian and faggot ass Frenchie. And then take that guy and put him in every country in the world. But that's another thing. I'm hitting all the bases here, by the way. But yeah, you don't need some extravagant technology. You can do all this right now to have post scarcity, and then you can use that government to. Then once you have that government, you don't really need to have a huge, the whole patent law thing. You don't really need to worry too much about that anymore, because then you can uh, almost get rid of patents entirely. You can just overlay a kind of rule that says, that makes patent sharing or information sharing across industries. You can have like an information database that allows for product iteration more quickly. And I realize some people will be like, well, no one has the incentive to make it. And everybody will have their arguments for the downside. Well, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, well, if you want to keep waiting to build your things and get them to market, you're never going to be the one making any money off it. That's fine, but you're never going to make any money off of it. So it's going to be not an American company doing it. It's going to be China making money off it, or an Indian company making money off it, or an African company making money off it. Take your pick. You just have to have the I don't know what it is, the wisdom to spot when the right time is. So yeah, because there's a lot of crap going on about patent law, especially with countries like China seeming to really not abide by it. But I think we all know corporations really, well, they steal. They steal from each other. I think we all know that they do. Especially because Tesla can have they can have a warehouse, and they can have their engineers go to the warehouse where a dude bought a BYD car, and they can have their engineers disassemble it, look at it, and be like, "Wow, this." So that's how they did it. That's what it looks like. Hmm, that's interesting. I like this. I like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this. We can we can put that in our next design. Even if they don't outright steal patents. So you could take parts home to their R&D lab and put them under microscopes, run them through other things, and it might make them a year behind, but it can still do that kind of shit. Again, it might make them a year behind, but if that's what they got to do. That's what they got to do. like I say, it would be better if we had a world government that would just allow everything from every company to be continuously back forth. Um, but whatever. That's just another aspect. That's kind of one benefit that would be from the world government. And with a world government, you could vastly increase logistics and everything too. I realize this is more of a everything is interconnected kind of rant, but um, this is all coming from the um, post scarcity, post capitalism kind of thing, which again can be done now, and it does not require replicators or the unpossibly large power, electricity, whatever, that a replicator would require. Personally, I think a replicator would require a ridiculous amount of energy to function. If you want to actually synthesize matter, I think you would need to talk to a physicist to answer that question. But I think a replicator would require a fantastic amount of energy to function correctly. I may be wrong about that, but I really think it would require almost a functionally prohibitive amount of energy to work correctly at this civilization's level of technological capability. So, yeah. Um, and we don't need it. What we need to do is get rid of, we need to, as a mode change of ideology, just accept that profit is not, it's not necessary, and it's not necessary as a base function, and it is not a great motivator for people. It's what it is a barbaric tool. It's a whip, is what it is. It's, you know, a desert. It's manufacturing a desert and then offering someone a little 1 ounce of water when they're in a desert that's 105 degrees. You know, that's fucked up. Just enough water to keep you alive, to walk another mile, get that extra 1 ounce, maybe 1.5 ounces if you walked really good. And you know, well, how will people eat? automate farms. Let's just automate farms. You know, I would rather have meh food and have to pay nothing for it than fantastic food and have to toil for it. Because I, I, I am a cheap date, very cheap date. So, females out there, that's a, that's a not so subtle hint, by the way. Yeah, not cheapest date. Ramen is meh. But potatoes, you can do a lot with potatoes. Potatoes and seasoning, I mean, wow. And I guess you can work on ramen a lot, but you have to put a lot more effort into ramen than you do with something like potatoes. Potatoes are lazy. You can just bake them and then throw stuff on them. And fantastic. Okay, I'm getting off into a totally different topic here, but whatever. A point being, food is not that difficult. All right. So the argument of who's going to make all the food is bullshit. Besides, we did have that problem solved, and then Trump decided to deport thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that were just doing their job and happy to do it. Well, maybe not happy to do it, but content with doing it. What? Because they were brown? What a dick. And I don't even know if it was really Trump. It was Stephen Miller. We're only getting rid of 500 a day. Get rid of 4,000, 5,000, 10,000. We don't have enough planes to do that. Burn them. Kill them in the street. Leave them rot there. Rats will get them. It's kind of Nazi. I don't care. My bald head says kill him. My eyes are. Isn't that guy just a little freaky? Like, seriously. I think he's getting more unhinged, too. That's Stephen Miller. Okay, yeah, I'm going here now. That Stephen Miller is getting, like, if you do his clips, like, like month by month, since Trump has been in office this second time, the guy is getting more and more Hitler. Like with Hitler with it, like Stephen Hitler, Stephen Hitler, Stephen Miller is getting more and more Hitler. I think I think maybe Stephen Miller wants to run for president next time as Hitler in America. Like he wants to try to, if he can get MAGA to edge out everybody else. But I don't know if that's going to be good enough. If he can get Nick Fuentes to win over America, to be like, yes, everybody needs to be openly anti anything that isn't white. And every white person needs to be like ultra super mega racist. I don't think you're going to be able to get that though. So I think Stephen Miller, you're just going to have to like make a ceramic version of your bald head and have sex with that. prison. So, you know, it's otherwise, I think the guy's too small to be the pitcher in the, you know, neo-Nazi section of the prison. He seems like he would be the catcher. So, the unwilling catcher. I'm the leader. Other guys would be like, yeah, no, we're not the leader. You can have my jello, though, bitch. And that's where I'll end it. Tax rich, boobs. Stephen Miller is a bitch.